Desire versus result. Are they the same? As in, I desire knowledge and gets knowledge. The question is desire versus result. Are they the same? Is desire and the fruit the same? As in, I desire knowledge and gets knowledge. So, desire and result seems to be the same. Question is, are they the same? If yes, how? If no, why not? Show drama title mari irukku. Question. Desire versus result. Are they the same? They are the same. They are the same. For I want money and I get money. So the desire and the result is one and the same. There is no difference, as in when you talk in a very generalized way. In a very general way, if you bring up a topic like this, desire versus result, are they one and the same? In a general way, both are same. For there is no difference between desire and the result. You are correct. I desire knowledge and get knowledge. Meaning, the desire and the fruit will not differ. I go to engineering college for the result of becoming an engineer. So, desire and result is the same. If yes, how? How are they the same? They are the same as in you want, take your own example. You want knowledge. You desire knowledge. Desiring is always connected to, is desiring connected to the present or desiring connected to the future? Is desire of the present or desire of the future? Desire pertains to what part of the time? See, the time is divided into three, the past, present and the future. Now desire belongs to what? Future. Is it of the present or is it of the future? Is it of the present or is it of the future? But sir, desire comes from the past. So how can you leave the past? So desire, result is all the same thing in various modifications at different periods of time. So, in a very generalized way, because the question is desire versus result without any context. Generally, if you ask desire versus result, without the context, both are one and the same. How result belongs to the future, desire comes from the past, action is what you do in the present. So the chain, desire, action, result. Desire, action, result. This chain, the cycle continues. So when we talk about result, we talk about the future part of it. When we talk about the desire, we talk about the past aspect of the same thing. When we talk about action, we talk about the current aspect of the same phenomena. You follow? Desire, action, result. Desire as in which comes from your past. Action is what you do in the present. Result is what you get in the result is what you hope for in the future. Whenever you use the word result, learn to use the word hope. Never use the word get. Thinking appuram clarity varum. Don't mix up words. Whenever you talk about the result, use the word hope. Why we call it as hope? Because chances are you may not. Chances are you may not get. Are you able to follow? So desire, action, result. Desire is from the past, known. Action is what you can do in the present, which is manageable, known. The fruit, the result, the phala, which belongs to the future is unknown. So whenever we talk about desire, we talk about as known. Whenever we talk about desire, we talk about it as unknown. Are you able to follow? But correct action manna, if I do the action rightly, result must come no. This is our hope. Action produces a result. Action produces a result. That we talk in a totally different context. Desire versus result. As in, how you take it, how I am taking it in this context is as in desire, action, result. You have a desire to gain knowledge. You did action in between and you got knowledge. Now you are working backwards. Having got the result, you are working backwards. You wanted knowledge, you did something in between and you got. Having got the fruit, you work backwards and say, and connect. Are you able to follow? In some context, you work backwards and say, action produces result. Actually speaking, even though we say action produces result, only looking at the action, you connect it, only looking at the result, you are connecting it to the action. Only looking at the result, you are connecting to the action. And then you make a law, action produces result. Favorable or unfavorable is different. Priyam or apriyam is different. What I wanted or what I didn't, you get what you want, sometimes you get what you don't want. Either way some result comes. Are you able to follow? When we talk that language, we are talking in a different context. That context is in the context of Karma Yoga, detachment. In the context of Karma Yoga, in the context of detachment, we say, Karmanyevadhikaraste mapaleshu kadachana. Your adhikara is to do karma only, not to the result. Don't bother about the results. Don't be result oriented. All this discussion comes when, in what context all this will be spoken of? In the context of Karma Yoga, where you have to do the right action. Instead of bothering about the fruit, do the right action. Avladhan. When we talk about desires and result, are they the same? The answer is, are you able to understand? When you ask the question, is desire and result, are they the same? The answer is yes, because it's part of the same process. You can't say fruit is something different from the desire. Cannot be equal. The fruit is not, the result is not different from what you desire. Are you able to follow? We are talking in the context of where result has not yet come. Please carefully, I'm thinking like clarity or no. We are talking in the angle of where result hasn't come as yet. Where the result has already come. And then you come and ask the other possibility. Carefully follow. The result has already come. After you come and ask, idu na edirpaakaliye. Idu na kekaliye. I didn't want this. I didn't ask for this. Abdinna, at what point of time you are looking at the result? At what point of time you are looking at the result? After getting it. After getting the result. Vedanta knowledge, sacrificial knowledge na kadaikonnu da sir nanga vanda. With that desire, I came for the class. Suddenly I realized that I have ended up becoming more selfish and self-centered. In the knowledge எல்லாம் கத்துக்கிட்டது அப்புறமா sir, I have become only more selfish and self-centered. Now when are you discussing that? The effect has come, not after the action. Don't say that. The result has come. Result வந்ததுக்கு அப்புறமா நான் அந்த ரிசல்ட் அனலைஸ் பண்றேன். நான் கேட்டதும் அவ்வளவுதான். அவ்வளவுதான். நான் கேட்டதும் கிடைச்சதும் கரெக்டா இருக்குதா? மேட்ச் ஆச்சா? கேட்டது ஒண்ணு இல்லையா? வடிவேல் காமெடி மாதிரி ஆயிடுச்சு. யூ ஆஸ்க் ஃபார் சம்திங் அண்ட் யூ எண்ட் அப் கெட்டிங் சம்திங் எல்ஸ். Now this you are discussing only after the result. Are you able to follow? So whenever you talk about the result, we never talk after the result has come to look at the action. Most of the time in the context of Karma Yoga, we don't talk about the result having gotten. We talk about you having to do the action. You having to do the action. Okay, sir. If I do that way, கண்டிப்பா கிடைச்சிருமா? எவ்வளவு நாள்ல கண்டிப்பா கிடைச்சிரும்னா எவ்வளவு சீக்கிரம் கிடைக்கும்? 10 வருஷம் ஆகும். ஏதாவது ஒரு பெட்டர் ப்ராசஸ் பண்ணி 5 வருஷமா 5 வருஷத்துல குறைக்கணும். All these questions come about what? All these questions, what is the common motive behind all these questions? How to speed up the result. How to quicken the result. Are you able to follow? Whenever you ask a question about how to speed up the result, how to quicken the result, சீக்கிரம் வர வைக்கிறது எப்படின்னா, we say don't be result oriented. Just do your duty. Are you able to follow? It's a clear knowledge, as in if you understand what you are asking. But the trouble is, we mean something and the words that come out is something else. இல்லையா? இதுல வார்த்தைக்கு ஆன்சர் கொடுக்கறதா? What do you answer? Do you answer for the word or do you answer for what you mean but used the wrong word? கேட்கிறவருக்கு குழப்பம், சொல்றவருக்கு அதுக்கு மேல குழப்பம். You follow? So when you ask generally, desire versus result, are they the same? How? It's all part of the same process. Desire, what is the process? 3 steps. Desire, action, result. Desire is that which is of the past. What is the desire of the past? Vedanta class Varnundra desire is of the past. You have come now. What is the present? 7:30 to 8:45? 7:30 to 8:45? Listen. At what it stops? Karma Yoga stops here. Result orientation comes 8:50 என்கிட்ட வந்து அது ஒன்னும் நடக்கலையே சார்னா நடக்காது. Result orientation. Are you able to follow? So, of the 3, desire, action, result, desire, action, result, of the 3, we always talk only about the 2. The third one we do not talk about it at all. Because it is unknown. It is the phala, the fruit is always unknown. And why talk about that which is unknown? But the human mind will always want to talk about that which is unknown. Are you able to follow? So desire versus result. How are they the same in this context? Desire comes from the past. Action is done in the present. Action is done in the present for what? Getting the result. அது சித்திக்கணுங்கிறதுக்கு தான். I wanted something. அது வெறும் வாண்ட்ல தான் இருக்கு. I have not yet gotten it. நினைச்ச உடனே கிடைச்சிருச்சுன்னா action is not required at all. I have desired for it, but I have not yet gotten it. Something has to be done in between. What is it? That is an action. So in that sense, desire and result is one and the same. Avladhan. Don't complicate it. Don't mix it up with what is said in the context of Karma Yoga. In the context of Karma Yoga, in the context of renunciation, sannyasa, only 2 things will be spoken about. What are the 2 things? Desire has entered already. So, you are a victim of it anyway. So, adhanal adha pathiyum there is no need to talk about that also. Result as such is unknown. So there is no need to talk about the result either. All that you can talk about is what? Result na sadhya, sadhikiradu, wanting it. Sadhana na the action, the means to get it. Thinking la, it is called sadhana, sadhya, sambandha. Sadhana, sadhya. Sadhya is that what you want. Sadhya is that where you want to go. That is sadhya. Where you want to go, you can dream. Where you want to go is you can hallucinate that you are already already there. Another is to ask, what should I do to get it? What should I do to get it is what the action part is. The knowledge, the skill, the attitude, the shraddha, ella enga varudhu. You need a skill to do that. You need a skill to do that. You need to have shraddha in skill irna mattum poradu. Again, along with skill, you need shraddha also. So all these things, if you bring in action, what happens? If you can bring in all this into action, what happens? Huh? What happens? Idam karma yoga. If you bring all this into action, what happens? The very doing is so satisfying, you become unconcerned about the result. Karma yoga doesn't say result will come. Carefully follow the difference. Yeah, result will come nu solliyachina desire da irukudanga. Karma yoga says you become unconcerned about the result. There is a huge difference between the two. Are you able to follow the difference? Yeah. அதுதான் சந்நியாசம்னு பேர். நியாசம் டிட்டாச்மெண்ட். சம் மீன்ஸ் குட். நல்ல டிட்டாச்மெண்ட் இருக்கணும். That's why the word sannyasa itself is a wonderful word. Some plus nyasam. Some plus nyasam equals detachment. What is the good detachment? Unconcerned about the fruit. Not that you are doing all this with the hope, with the conviction that idella correcta panna result vandrum. It may come, it may not come. You become unconcerned. So a karma yogi develops the attitude of udasina for the karma phala. Simple. Ellam formulas madri you have to filter it and mananam panni you have to understand it. Then it becomes easy. Karma yogi develops the udasina towards the phala, because the very skill, the very shraddha, the very effort itself is so satisfying. இந்த மாதிரி பண்ணா என்ன ஆகும்? With full shraddha if you do, what will happen? You'll be self-satisfied. இதே 24/7 பண்ணிருந்தா ஸ்தித பிரஜ்ஞா. A person who does it 24/7 becomes a sthita prajna. That is why satisfied in the self, by the self. He becomes a sthita prajna because he is satisfied in the self, by the self. Are you able to follow? So here the distinction is as in karma yogi is the one who is unconcerned about the result. Udasina. Udasina means he doesn't even want to bother about it. He doesn't even want to look at it. When it comes, what comes? When the fruit comes, prasada buddhi. When the fruit comes, prasada buddhi. Because he understands what? Effort alla meeri there is one factor called anugraha. Effort alla meeri, there is another factor called the divine grace, which is completely unknown. So whatever the result comes, how he receives it? Prasada buddhi. It is the Lord's prasad. And serving the society and put to cross Jesus Christ. Is that the color? Under normal circumstances, that shouldn't be the fruit, no. Take the example, Jesus Christ, serving. What is the result he got? He was crucified. You follow? So, service panna crucifixion palama, sir, you cannot conclude. Neither can you say service is wrong because the act of serving is wrong because he got the fruit of crucifixion. Then, how would you see that fruit of crucifixion? How would you see that? How would you understand that fruit? அது அவருடைய பிராரம்பம் சார். அவர் ஏதோ தப்பு பண்ணிருக்கிறாரு பூர்வ ஜென்மால. சோ அதுக்கு கர்ம பலனா? How would you see that? He knew how to see that. Father, forgive them for they know not what they do. Even this fruit, he is not arrogating it to, they know not what they do. They know not what they do, but you are in cross suffering for a few hours. How do you stay in the cross for that few hours? Peacefully. How do you do that? Christ did that. Prasada buddhi. So when we talk about result, in this context, we are talking about the unconcerned to the result. Whether the result comes or not. The question here is not that. The question here is desire versus result. Are they the same? Answer is they are the same. How? The process. What is the connection between the seed and the tree? Are they the same? From one way they are the same, from another way they are not the same. In one way they are the same, as in part of the same process. In another way they are not the same because the seed dies for the tree to come. So from which angle you are looking at it? As we always ask the context. From which angle you are looking at it? What is the angle here in relation to action? Are you asking this question after getting the result? Or are you asking this question in the process of what should I do to get it? Syria?
The question I was because I have the understanding that desire and result is same, and then I have been repeatedly listening that desire drives the action, but it should not be result oriented. So I was under the impression that even then somehow indirectly it is supporting the statement that still you can desire for result because desire drives the action.
Correct.
And you don't need to be result oriented. So what desire and result are same. So I connected it later.
Correct.
I couldn't get. So are you promoting or what are you asking us to do in the government?
Correct. When we talk, that is why I explained now. That is why I explained result as in the karma yogi is udasina towards the result. He is not saying result should not come. He is not saying result will not come. Please understand that. He is not saying result should not come. He is neither saying result will not come. Whatever the result is, he is unconcerned. Avladhan. Whatever the result is, he is unconcerned. But result ku unconcerned aayidthuna doing oru tamasika irukada. Because that is where karma yoga comes in. For the karma, that is where karma yoga, that's where the knowledge of karma yoga comes and teaches you that you cannot do it indifferently. Doing is not done indifferently. The indifference is developed towards the result, the pala, the fruit. Seriya? Yes. Different question. Is it okay? Yes. You can stop cheating yourself. Last class I said S.R.L. Shankar is an expert in cheating, not his clients and customers. S.R.L. Shankar is an expert in cheating himself. Now the question that he is asking is, or acid test, first stage how to catch myself cheating myself so that you can avoid. Typical example of the result orientation question. Attached to the fruit. What should be the question? Don't ask this question. What should be the question? What is cheating oneself means? How does one cheat oneself? That should be the question. Are you able to follow the difference? Even though he means it, but the words conveying something, the words he is using convey something completely different. So that I can stop cheating myself. What has it boiled down? Looks like a wonderful question. Looks like a very question that is involving in transformation. It's not all that. What is the result? You follow? Now the answer to the question. Mudala question கேட்டாலும் தப்புன்னு சொல்லிடணும். Yes. Prove that he is wrong. Make him feel depressed, inferior. After answer, because he is not going to listen to the answer. After he is not going to listen to the answer. No. I've done technique. Shankar, how does anybody cheat oneself? First of all, is it true that you cheat yourself? I just made a statement. Is it true that one cheats oneself? Yes. The answer is yes. You cheat yourself. How does this happen? How does this happen? The exaggerated value that you have about your own self, as in superiority or inferiority, is the way you cheat yourself. Everybody cheats themselves. How? The exaggerated opinion that you carry about your own self, either in the form of superiority or inferiority. Number one. For a few methods you cheat yourself. Number two, you cheat yourself when you go by your senses. When you take your senses as the pramanam, you cheat. You cheat yourself. Because the senses gives you a, carefully follow, the senses gives you a sensory knowledge which is not true. But what you do is, you take the sensory knowledge and give it a satyam to it. This is how you cheat yourself in the philosophical way. First சொன்னது வந்து in a very practical way. Second சொல்றது வந்து, which is what the truth is. You take the senses as the pramanam, and the sensory perceptions are given. Sensory perceptions are given what? Satyam to it. You give a sense of reality to it. Whenever you give a sense of reality to it, you are cheating. You are cheating yourself. That's why the wise man says, I will not go by what I see, I will not go by what I hear, because he understands sensory perceptions cannot be given the authority of reality. Sensory perceptions gives you a knowledge, but they don't give you, but that knowledge is not real, satyam. You follow? These are the two fundamental ways in which a person cheats oneself. In the rendu formula, you can develop your own. From these two formulas, you can develop your own permutation and combination. From these two, you can examine your own self, do some self-inquiry and find out what is the unique way in which you are. Adaladan uniqueness varum ellarkum. The way in which I will cheat myself will be completely different from the way in which you will cheat yourself. But cheating as such happens, and what is the methodology in which it happens? An exaggerated value that I give to myself, either in superiority or inferiority. An exaggerated value. Second is, I take the sensory perceptive knowledge as the sensory cognitions as real. I cheat myself. Then what does one do? For the second, refuse to take what you see as real. Refuse to take what you hear as real. That's how he says, don't take things for granted. That's what it means. Every other lecture he keeps on saying, don't take things for granted. Don't take things for granted. What have we taken for granted? The sensory perceptions. Please understand, all this you do in manana only. Whenever you are sitting for manana, you try all these methods. Yeah. Drive பண்ணி இருக்கும்போது ஏத்த மாதிரி யாராவது வந்தா, when you are driving the car, if somebody is crossing, they are real and you should not. Don't run over them out of them. Illa sir, appo I was, what I see is not what it is. Maybe I am imagining, idella insanity. That is not what That is not what it is. That's not what it is. All this has to be done when you sit for manana. We are not doing all this because we never sit for manana. That's why we are not able to do any of this. All this has to be done when you sit for manana. By and by what happens? Knowledge sinks in. There you start seeing yourself clearly. You start seeing yourself rightly. How do you know that you have cheated yourself? When you are not able to accept yourself as you are, you have cheated. When you are not able to accept you as you are. What is the big difficulty in that? You follow? எவ்வளவுதான் இங்கிலீஷ்ல பேசினாலும் நான் பேசுறது தமிழ் மாதிரி தான் இருக்கும். How much ever I speak in English, it will sound like Tamil only. Now I need to worry whether I am grammatically correct or conveying the point. I need not worry about changing my accent. Are you able to follow? I don't have to worry about that, but I need to worry about am I using the right word, and am I conveying what I want to convey? Oh my God, எல்லாம் கரெக்டா இருக்குது, பட் ஆனா accent மட்டும் கொஞ்சம் மாத்தணும். I have to sit and watch all the English movies, go for English class, learn how to change the accent. Okay, I change my accent, but something else comes. நீங்க பேசுறது சார், ஆனா அப்படி உட்கார்ந்துட்டே இருக்கல தவிர ஒரு பாடி லாங்குவேஜ் should have like a dynamic moving body language. அப்படி உட்கார்ந்தா அப்படியே கல்லு மாதிரி உட்கார்ந்த இடத்துலயே பேசியிருந்தா what is the so for that is now I'm not saying all this is wrong. I need to accept this is what my nature is and move in that nature and aspire for evolution. Cheating is when I want to change myself for some other reasons because of a complex. Are you able to follow? Because of a complex. Why do you have to do that? You don't have to do that. சரியா? Is it okay? Practical tip வேற கேட்டேன் நீங்க. First stepலே how to catch. அதுக்கு நான் ஆன்சர் பண்ணவே இல்லையே இன்னும். அவருக்கு கொஸ்டின் மறந்துடுச்சு. இவ்வளவு ஆன்சர் இல்ல. How to catch yourself in the first step. Remember Josh Billings. At any point of time when you make a declaration, I know. Question you have cheated yourself. For the truth is you don't know. You follow? So whenever there is a affirmative where you are so convinced deep inside you that you know what you are. வேதாந்தத்துலாம் வேணா அந்த டவுட் வரும் சார், பட் இன்வெஸ்டர்ஸ் அசோசியேஷன்ல I know what I am doing. This no, I do not know doesn't happen in specific areas. It's a general, it's part of your personality. Please understand that. In specific areas it doesn't happen. Or in one specific area you will develop a skill and you attribute it to all other areas also. Are you able to follow? Or you should say, in the area of my skill, I think this can be done. You talk the language of suggestion. Habit. Develop that into a habit. Start learning to talk the language of suggestion. Because when you are talking, you are also hearing it. See, when you talk, it's not only the other who is hearing. You are also hearing. Inga the problem of the mind comes. Only you will be convinced about what you are. Only you will be convinced about what you are talking. The other will not be. Still they will come with the. Have you ever observed it? When you talk, only your conviction goes up. Increasing. Adutha vaalaku irukra doubt illu? They are able to follow. That is why learn to speak the language of suggestion, not because you are doing a favor to others. When you talk, who is listening? And the point we always miss. Whenever we talk, we think only the other is listening. Who is listening? You are also listening. You talk and you get carried away by your own. You talk and you get carried away by your own. That is why when somebody starts talking, you switch off mentally. Why? Why? Because they are not talking to you. They are talking to themselves. You need lot of love and compassion to talk to the other. Lot of compassion is required. Lot of love is required to talk to the other. But you talk about yourself. Or you talk only to yourself. எவ்வளவு சொன்னாலும் கேட்க மாட்டேன்றாங்க. எவ்வளவு சொன்னாலும் மாட்டேன்றாங்க. So this is the practical tip where you know that you are catching yourself cheating. The practical is, remember Josh Billings. What did he say? Josh Billings. என்னப்பா சொன்னாரு? Josh Billings. கோர்ஸ் எல்லாம் முடிச்சு ஒரு வருஷம் ஆயிடுச்சு, அதனால இப்ப கேட்டேன்னாக்கா we will not remember. What did Josh Billings say? The trouble with most folks is not their knowing as many things which ain't so. Knowing so many things which ain't so. அவ்வளவுதான். நாலாவது, I didn't say you cheat yourself. Shankaracharya says in Bhajagovindam, 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 Mudamate, cool. அடுத்த வார சீட் பண்ணா பரவாயில்ல, அப்ப உன்னே நீ சீட் பண்ணா what do you call that? If you cheat another, it is okay, but you cheat, சரியா? Pramura, Vimuda, Balaha, all these is a very poetic way of saying you are cheating yourself. You left the pastry, went out, came back, the pastry is missing. You know where it went. Yeah, you know where it went, and you pretend as though you are searching for it. The child comes and asks, what are you? Child knows what you are. So I don't know, what are you searching? Kind of, they know what you are. You should know all this. How mind? What are you searching for? Under normal circumstances, it doesn't even come to you, no? Correct? What are you searching for? I'm searching for the pastry. I don't know where it went. The child says, I also don't know. And the child actually believes that. Now who is believing that? Who is believing that? You are the child. But you ignore. Why? Because child. But ரொம்ப நாளா child ஆவே இருக்கோமே சார். What do Permanenta Chaidartha, what does one do? Don't worry. If you don't gain through knowledge and if you don't evolve through knowledge and understanding, knocks and shocks will wake you up. Vedanta only comes and says, don't wait for knocks and shocks to wake you up. Wake up through knowledge and understand. How does it? Are you able to follow? How does one cheat you? Practical tip. Always learn to speak the language of suggestion. See, number is impossible. We have to. Number is impossible. Suggestive language is culturally, we talk only the language of. He keeps saying, no? Nanda solrenappa. We are used to that way. Opposite of that is start learning to speak the language of suggestion. In any field, if you are an expert, you will speak that language only. In whatever field you are an expert, unknowingly you will start talking that language, because the very expertise teaches you that so much is to be known. The very expertise that you develop itself will teach you that so much is there to learn, to know. So by default what comes? The language of suggestion comes. Is it okay? Practical tip. So another question. I said action taints. What is the opposite of taint? What is the opposite of taint? Pure. Clear. Clear is more appropriate. Pure is a derivation. Taint is dirt. Clear, pure is opposite of action taints. That's what he's saying. In the way that you all perform action, Arjuna, you are tainted. If you perform action in the way that I teach you, you become clear, you become pure. So opposite of taint is clear, pure. Taint na mala. Taint means mala, dirt. Covered. What is opposite of that? Pure. Malak opposite? You can say Nirmala Amala Allah. Yeah. Nirmala Amala na mind enju. Nirmala. All means the same. No dirt. What is the proper word? Taint is opposite word, Shaucham. Purity. That is why whenever they talk about the quality of Brahman, they say it is Nirmala. Whenever they talk about what you have to do to get rid of the dirt, they say Shaucham. Are you able to follow? The appropriate words has to be used. Purity. Are you able to follow? Taint. Action taints. How does action taint? Driven by vasanas, creates more vasanas. Other than taint. It's driven by vasanas, desires, and it creates more desires. So action taints means dirt gets added up, accumulated. In the way that I am teaching about action, jnana karma, what goes out? The dirt goes out. Seriya? Is it okay? Taint is opposite? Pure. Mala versus Saucha. Purity. Okay? Yes. He's asking questions. What? Sulba.
You have to question everything.
You have to question?
Everything.
Yes.
Many questions asked from how to understand.
Yes. The question that he is asking is, Sashanat Shastram. What they have said is Pramanam. Sashanat Shastram. Shastram Varteg root on the Shasana. So, in some other context, you say, question everything. Now his question is, can we question Shastram? Yes. You have to question Shastram. And there is a way to question the Shastram. Pujaniya Vichara. Worshipful questioning. You have to question Shastram. Definitely you have to question. For if you don't question, you will never have a conviction in doing what you are doing. Therefore, you necessarily have to question. But when you question, there is a way to question. What is the method? What is the way to question? What is the way to question? Pujaniya Vichara, worshipfulness. You can question to prove that they are wrong. You can question to understand. There are two ways. You can question to prove that they are wrong. Another is question to understand. It's called Pujaniya Vichara. What is implied here is, whenever we say Vichara, inquiry, question, prashna, Vichara, when we say all this, what is implied here, where we don't have to talk about it at all, is Pujaniya Vichara. Chapter 1 Bhagavad Gita, first few verses, Duryodhana speaks to Dronacharya. 3, 4, 5, 6, or first 9, 10 verses. Duryodhana speaking to Dronacharya. One word it is captured. Acharyam upasangamya raja vachanam abravit. Verse number 3. Correct or sonena param? Acharyam upasangamya raja vachanam abravit. He goes to the teacher not as a student. He goes to the teacher as Raja. This chapter 2, verse 7-8. Sishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam. Arjuna, I have surrendered to you. And he kept on asking questions right till the end. Are you able to understand the difference? If he has surrendered to you, but he didn't. Right till then he kept on asking questions, but then he has established. What did he establish? Sishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam. So, you can question as Raja Vachanam Abravit. ஆச்சாரிய உபசங்கம்ய ராஜா வசனம் அப்ரவீத். எப்படி பேசுறான்? பேசும்போதே ஒரு there's an arrogance. Raja, that attitude of the king, not that attitude of king, the arrogance is there. You follow? So when you approach the Shastra, when you question the Shastra, how do you question? Not like Duryodhana, Not like Duryodhana, but like Arjuna. But questioning is allowed. Questioning is allowed. In fact, Krishna himself says, question. Krishna himself says, question. Pariprashnena. ஆனா அந்த பிரஷ்னம் கேட்கறதுக்கு அதிகாரத்துவம் எப்ப வரும்? சேவையா. You don't just come and ask question. When you question, what should go along with that question? Seva. அதுதான் பூஜனீய விசாரம். Are you able to follow? A child in the classroom asks a question. Child in the classroom asks a question to the school teacher. Pujaniya vichara is not there. It's only a mere what is that transaction there? What is that questioning there? What is that questioning there? That questioning there is transformation is not sought. He doesn't want to transform. He only wants to know. You follow? So when you question Shastra, what does Pujaniya Vichara means? You don't question just for the sake of the knowledge, but you question because you want to transform. Adhan Pujaniya. So you have to question Pujaniya Vicharam. How do you know that concept ellam correct irukudhu, but how do you practically know that you are doing your vichara has Pujaniya Seva. The seva that you do is the proof of Pujaniya Vichara. You follow? Are you able to follow? The seva that you do in whatever way. You follow? கிளாஸ்க்கு வரதே பெரிய சேவை சார். அதுவும் நீங்க பேசுறது உட்கார்ந்து கேட்கறது இன்னும் அதை விட பெரிய சேவை உங்களுக்குன்னா. Are you able to follow? Attitude of service. Then that questioning has a depth transformation. Illana questioning is just mere. As in the school student asking the school teacher. இல்லையா? கேள்வி கேட்டு பதில் சொன்ன 5-6 நிமிஷம் அந்த டீச்சர் மேலே ராக்கெட் பறக்கும். கரெக்டா? சேம் டீச்சர் மேலே பேப்பர் பால்ஸ் எல்லாம். Here there is no questioning is there, but what is not there? What is not there? That worshipfulness is not there. You follow? How do you question the Shastras? You question the Shastras as in Pujaniya Vicharam. அதுதான் இந்த எக்ஸாம்பிள் கூட. ஸ்கூல் in the classroom also the student questions the teacher, and when the answer is given or after the answer is given, 10th minute the fun starts. And what is the fun? What is the fun for the student? Maximum fun for the student. What? I already said it. Embarrass the insult the teacher, embarrass the teacher. He is more. Have you ever observed? That's why some of the very good teachers, when you know, they come and twist your ear and say, don't try this tricks. You follow? Now that is vichara, that is questioning, that is prashna. But what is not there? What is not there? Worshipfulness is not there. Yes, that is worshipfulness. Yes, worshipfulness. Worshipfulness irukonu. Our problem is, when we have worshipfulness, we stop questioning. When we start questioning, worshipfulness goes out. ஏதாவது ஒண்ணுதான் இருக்கு, ரெண்டும் சேர்ந்து இருக்க மாட்டேன்றது இல்லையா? கோபம் வந்துடுறது. Nowadays, Chitra has become so wise. Not that she was unwise before, she has become more. So she will ask a question and she will give 10 things. What all I should not give as an answer. Know this, know this, know this, know this. Anger mounting. Every time she says, know this, and then finally, what is the answer? I say, enake therliye. பூஜனீயம். கேள்வி கேட்கும்போது எப்படி கேள்வி கேட்கணும்? குவைட்டா கேள்வி கேட்கணும். என்னப்பா சரியா? வாட் ஆர் யூ ஷுட் நாட் ஆன்சர் சார். இதெல்லாம் ஆன்சர்னு சொல்லாம வேற புதுசா ஆன்சர் சொல்லுங்கன்னா மியூசிக் கம்போசிஷன் நடக்கிறது. புதுசா டியூன் போடுறதுக்கு போட்ட டியூனே தான் திருப்பி போட வேண்டியது. தத்துவம் வசி அதே தான் திருப்பி சொல்லி இருக்க முடியும். வாட் இஸ் த நியூ திங் யூ கேன் சே பூஜனீய விசார. If we question, worshipfulness goes away. If worshipfulness comes in, question goes away, and we alternate between the two. End up getting frustrated anyway. Because we neither reap the benefit of worshipfulness, nor do we reap the benefit of questioning, because we are alternating. Seriya? Sivajnanam. நல்ல பேர்ல. I like his name. Sivajnanam. Fairly, the auspicious knowledge he has. நமக்குள்ள என்னமோ அந்த inauspicious knowledge வச்சுட்டாங்க போல இருக்கு. Auspicious knowledge he has. Worship, you have to question the Shastra, but you question with worshipfulness. What is worshipfulness? What is the indicator of worshipfulness? Willing to do seva. Willing to do seva. This knowledge, Arjuna, can be got through. This knowledge, Arjuna, is going to say. This knowledge, Arjuna, is going to, you will get it through pariprashnena sevaya. By serving and questioning. When you serve, you are submitting to the authority. When you question, you are exposing your ajnanam. Are you able to follow? See, when you do seva, you are accepting you have surrendered to the authority. That is why we prostrate first. Guruva paatha onne, you have to prostrate. Road la paatha kuda you have to prostrate. Because when you prostrate, what are you indicating? அதெல்லாம் தெரியாது சார், கல்ச்சரலா சொல்லி கொடுத்துருக்காங்க. ஐ எம் டூயிங் அப்படி கிடையாது. when you prostrate, you are submitting to the authority. when you question, expose your questioning is exposing your ignorance and wanting to gain knowledge. Seva is indicated by prostration. That is why 3 conditions he puts. Pranipatena, pariprashnena, sevaya. Know that by prostration, know that by questioning, know that by service. 3 இருக்கணும். அதுதான் Pranipatena pari prashnena seva. Seva. Why sevana separate kondu vandarna? This pranipatena has become so mechanical. Path only, you just followed the feet and you don't mean it at all. Clear? You don't mean it at all. What does it mean? When you prostrate, you have accepted the other as the authority. Are you able to follow? When you prostrate, prostration is indication that you have accepted the other as an authority. You are the authority. I am questioning. Why? Ajnanam. You are an authority. I am ignorant. And you are helping me to remove my ignorance. So as I am gaining knowledge from you, what I do simultaneously? Seva. முதல்ல நாலேஜ் எல்லாம் சொல்லி கொடுத்துருக்கோம் சார். அப்புறமா இல்ல நாலேஜ் கேட்ட மாதிரி I will do சேவா. அப்படி கிடையாது. As you are gaining knowledge, seva has to be done. For seva is the right conducive environment. Seed enga ponnu? Conducive soil la ponnu. Seed eduthu poi barren land la pota. Like he gives example, no? Alfonso seed planted in Scotland. Soil is not conducive. So seva is the conducive. Seva is the conducive soil. See, today seva is seen as, you should not do, because if you do seva, it is seen as vela vaangranga. The student poured tea and gave it to the teacher. Udane WhatsApp video. What? Teacher has turned the student into servant. Tea boy மாத்திட்டாங்க. I didn't 4 லட்சம் ரூபாய் ஃபீஸ் கட்டுறது என்னத்துக்கு? டீ ஊத்தி கொடுக்கிறதுக்கா? Seva, the concept of seva is gone. Therefore, intelligence is growing, knowledge is growing, intelligence is growing. What is not happening? Transformation is not happening. Are you able to follow? That's why 3 questions, 3 conditions. Pranipatena, pariprashnena, seva. Is it okay? Jnanam. Seriya? So question the Shastras. Sashanat, Shastram. Now you have to question. More you question, more conviction you gain. Your practice is dependent upon your conviction. Conviction is dependent upon your understanding. And understanding is dependent upon how much you have questioned. It's a sequence. I went backwards. Even forward. Your practice is dependent upon your conviction. How much you are convinced is what shows up in the intensity of your practice. So conviction varnumna, you need to understand. Understanding varnumna, you have to think. Think pannumna, you have to question. Either you question yourself and find the answer, or you ask here, doesn't matter. But you have to question. And when you question, pujaniya vicharam. Pujaniya vicharam. What does this pujaniya vicharam means? Pranipatena, pariprashnena, seva. Know that knowledge, Arjuna, by these 3 disciplines. Prostration, questioning, seva. In the scholastic education, seva and prostration is not needed. That is why you come out intelligent, but you don't come out as a transformed individual. Seriya? Svajnana. Okay? Yes.
Most often, I'm able to serve and question very mechanically because it's more of a mission. It's not like an attitude, necessarily an attitude. Because if I have a first attitude,
Yes.
permeates in every field. But I can fool myself.
Yes.
Saying that this one person who I think is superior. So I question, I get the answer, and I serve. So I think, okay, I'm going to give him all the right. Right?
Yes.
It's not necessarily an attitude of service.
Yes, it's not necessarily an attitude. Because when you surrender, the teacher is an authority in all subject matters. That is why I prostrate. And I prostrate when the teacher goes to when the Shishya goes to the Guru is not taken as an authority only on Vedantala mattum ninga. The Guru means he is an authority in all matters concerned. But ஆனா அவருக்கு இன்வெஸ்ட்மெண்ட் பத்தி ஒண்ணுமே தெரியாது. அவருக்கு டாக்டர்ல பத்தி மெடிசின் பத்திலாம் ஒண்ணுமே தெரியாது. அப்ப என்ன பண்றது? ஒண்ணுத்துக்கும் ஒரு No. You are right. People, when they do surrender and prostrate, it is very mechanical. Because it is impossible for the ego to accept one person as an authority in all matters concerned. Shishya does it. He goes to a Shastra and takes Shastram as the authority in all matters that is concerned about life and living. Shastra is the authority. Therefore, medical aranda kuda he may say go to the doctor. If he starts treating you, avladha. Don't go. He may refer. But then, the reference point is what? The Guru, the Shastra. Almost like slavery. ஒரு thin line தான் இருக்கு. அந்த thin line cross பண்ணா it looks almost like slavery. Shishya says, I am okay to be that slave. If you have a problem with slavery, you deal with it. But Shishya says, I am happy to be that slave. Because in that slavery, liberation is coming. In that slavery, what is coming? Liberation. In the ordinary way, ego is only getting sin. You follow? So most of the time, you are right. They don't take a person as an authority in all matters concerned. That is why we can always take a person as an authority in one or two subjects. Shasanat Shastram or the Guru becomes a Pramanam as in all matters concerned. Is it possible, Yes. Guru is that. Shastram is that. Okay? Why it is difficult is because ego finds it difficult to accept. One person can be an authority in all subjects matter. How can one be an authority in everything? Impossible, I say, sir. The Shishya says, no. You have not met my Guru. You have not met the Shastram, he says. For you come there, you know how one is an authority in everything. By virtue of what one becomes an authority in everything? By virtue of what? By virtue of what one becomes an authority in everything? Knowing that one thing by which you know everything, he knows that. Adha he becomes an authority in everything. Yeah. That's what we have to see. Mundaka Upanishad and Chandogya Upanishad talks about the same question. Exactly the same. Mundaka Upanishad, Chandogya deals with the same question. What is the question? Knowing that one by which I know everything. Shvetaketu comes back, Chandogyathila. Mundakala we know. Shaunaka goes and asks Angirasa. Chandogyathila, Shvetaketu comes back. The way he walked back from the Gurukula, father felt very sad. Sure. 12 வருஷம் போய் ஒண்ணுமே கத்துக்கலையே. He felt sad. Then he asked him this question. Did your teacher teach you that one thing? Knowing that you know everything? Shvetaketu turned back and says, Abdi one irukkuda? I didn't know. Oh. Do you know that? Shvetaketu asks the father. Do you know that? Yes. Tattvamasi Shvetaketu. Adhukadhaan that Tattvamasi comes as an answer to this question. So why do we say Shastram is all knowing? Why do we say the Guru is all knowing? Because he knows that one by which? By which? Beautiful question. And Mundaka he asked, what is that one? If I know everything. Worldly person says, and the மாதிரி knowledge கிடையவே கிடையாது. சயின்ஸ் தெரிஞ்சா ஹிஸ்டரி தெரியாது. ஹிஸ்டரி தெரிஞ்சா அனாட்டமி புரியாது. இல்லையா? அனாட்டமி புரிஞ்சா something else. So, there is no one thing by which you know everything. Here. புரியுதா? Why the student takes that one as an authority in everything? Because he knows that. What does he know? Knowing that one thing by which you know everything. In Mundaka, Shaunaka goes and asks Angirasa. In Shvetaketu, in Chandogya, father pokes the son to ask this question. Wonderful answer the father gives in Chandogya. And the entire Vedantic Shastra is in that three words. The father gives answer to Tattvam Asi Shvetaketu. That one thing by which you know everything. In the root Purinjasana, sir, you will know. Source Upayasana, you will know everything, no? Correct? Knowing that one by which you know everything. Adi Shankara gives an example. இது நார்த்னு ஒன்னு சொன்னா போறோம். He knows everything. You need not know everything. He gives a Upanishad எல்லாம் இந்த வாரம் they speak in a totally different language. Shankaracharya is a Bhashyakara. He writes commentaries and he is in or on the tutor, weekly class எடுக்கிறவர். So he gives an example and he gives an extraordinary example. That example that he gives to explain this point is, இது நார்த்னு சொல்ல போறோம். Knowing that one, you know, இது நார்த்னு சொன்னா you know what is south, you know what is east, you know what is west, north east. என்னெல்லாம் காம்பினேஷன் இருக்குதோ but all that you are taught is what? Only one. When you know that man has gone to the source, he becomes, whatever he says becomes Sashanat. Whatever he says becomes a Sasana, and that is what is known as Shastram, which you cannot understand, which you have to Sanipatena Pariprashnena Seva. Not that he has got PhD in all the subjects. Yeah, how does he, on what basis we say he is all-knowing? Knowing that one thing. எல்லாத்துக்கும் இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு ஆன்சர் வச்சிருக்கேன் சார் நீங்க. You have, for everything you have something to say. அப்படியே மூளை அப்படியே மழுங்க அடிச்சு you give answer for everything and don't make us. He says that. Knowing that one by which you know everything. Do you know that Shvetaketu? He asked. Sometime when we, in some context, we will discuss that. Do you know that Shvetaketu? He asked. Shvetaketu says, வாத்தியார் அப்படி ஒன்னும் சொல்லி கொடுக்கலையே அப்படின்னு அவருக்கே தெரியல. தெரிஞ்சிருந்தா எந்த சொல்லி கொடுக்காத இருக்க போறாரு. அவருக்கே தெரியல. Then he asked, do you know Father? Just come, I will teach you. Adan Chandogya Mahavakya. Tat Tvam Asi. You know that, you know everything. Seriya? We'll take up the question next week. The second question. There is one more question. We'll take up next week.